हेलीकॉप्टर जो है वो टारमैक की तरफ आना शुरू करेंगे और उसके बाद उनको वाटर कैनन सैल्यूट दिया जाएगा। एक आम भाषा में, एक आम बोलचाल की भाषा में लोगों को ज़रूर बताना चाहूँगा कि जब भी कोई एयरक्राफ्ट, जब भी कोई नया एयरक्राफ्ट इंडक्ट होता है तो उसको एक वाटर कैनन सैल्यूट दिया जाता है। यानी कि दो जो फायर ब्रिगेड की जो कैनन्स होती हैं, गाड़ियाँ होती हैं, वो एक इस तरफ से कैनन शॉट करेंगी, एक इस तरफ से कैनन शॉट करेंगी और उसके बीच में से निकलते हुए एयरक्राफ्ट बाहर आता है। ये एक ट्रेडिशन है, किसी भी फाइटर या किसी भी ट्रांसपोर्ट एयरक्राफ्ट को या फिर किसी हेलीकॉप्टर को इंडक्शन के दौरान इस तरीके की सेरेमनी की जाती है। और अब सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि अगर इसकी बात करें इस हेलीकॉप्टर की, तो इस हेलीकॉप्टर का सीलिंग यानी कि ये तकरीबन 21,000 फीट तक आसानी से उड़ान भर सकता है। और 21,000 फीट की बात करें तो उतनी ऊंचाई पर भारतीय सेना के जवान इस वक्त तैनात है, चाहे वो सियाचिन में हो, चाहे वो पूर्वी लद्दाख के हाई ऑल्टीट्यूड एरियाज़ में हो, इन सब जगह भारतीय सेना के जवान इस वक्त तैनात है। और ख़ास बात यह है कि अभी फ़िलहाल पिछले साल ही भारतीय रक्षा मंत्रालय ने 15 ऐसे हेलीकॉप्टर को अप्रूव किया था, जिसमें से 5 भारतीय सेना थल सेना को मिलने थे और 10 वायुसेना को मिलने थे। और उसी हिसाब से एक यूनिट, यानी कि 10 हेलीकॉप्टर की एक यूनिट जो है वो इस वक्त जोधपुर में स्थापित होगी। और इस वक्त सारी दुनिया की नज़र इस पर ज़रूर टिकी हुई है कि आखिर ये हेलीकॉप्टर किस तरीके से आगे मूव करेगा, क्योंकि हम लोग सिर्फ अपने देश के लिए ही नहीं बना रहे। अगर कोई देश हमारे से वेपनरी सिस्टम खरीदना चाहता है तो वो उसको भी हम लोग दे सकते हैं, हम दे रहे हैं। जैसे हम लोगों ने तेजस बनाया तो कई सारी कंपनीज़ ने, दूसरे देशों ने इंटरेस्ट जताया कि हमें वो चाहिए, तो उसी हिसाब से इनको दूसरे देशों को भी बेचने की तैयारी चल रही है। अब इसकी सबसे ख़ास बात क्या है कि जब से तकनीक बढ़ी है, तकनीक के दौर में पहले के जो पुराने एयरक्राफ्ट हैं उनमें जब भी पायलट कभी भी शॉट फायर करता था, उस वक्त उसको हमेशा उस टारगेट के पास अपने एयरक्राफ्ट को लेके जाना पड़ता था। यानी कि सपोज़ कीजिए कि सामने टारगेट है तो हेलीकॉप्टर को उस टारगेट के रेंज पर जाकर फायर करना होता था। लेकिन अब तकनीक बढ़ गई है, अब हेलमेट माउंटेड डिस्प्ले वो इस वक्त भारतीय सेना ने बहुत तेज़ी से उस पर काम करना शुरू किया। और अब इस खास बात यह है कि ये जो हेलीकॉप्टर आप देख रहे हैं, अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर, इसमें हेलमेट माउंटेड डिस्प्ले होगा, यानी कि जो पायलट है।
And I want to learn. That's on my agenda.
Mrinal, what is the art of being seen by the right people? Like you said, Nikhil Advani called me, and you said that I got a call from them. I got a call from him. What is the art of putting yourself out there? How do you catch the attention of the filmmakers? This is for all the actors that are waiting somewhere but don't know how to get spotted.
I think I owe my career to all the film festivals that my Love Sonia has been has been screened at. This is a very difficult question. Like, trust me, Atika, I was myself struggling really hard because I felt like Love Sonia was such a difficult film to pull off, and I felt like I was good, like I was okay, at least better than what I was in my previous work. But my question to myself, how do I get these filmmakers to watch my film? Having said that, it takes time. Like, trust me, in spite of being existing into Bollywood for so long, I haven't really gotten something which is as character-wise as meaty as Sita. I believe that whatever work I got in the past, I kept doing that. I literally rose from 5 scenes to 7 scenes to 10 scenes to 12 scenes. Okay. To all the actors, I just want to tell them one thing, that do not be ashamed of being a part of a film which offers 3 scenes but are good scenes.
Mrinal, you've been one of those few lucky actresses who in a very short span of your career have worked with the A-listers. You worked with Hrithik Roshan in Super 30, you worked with Shahid Kapoor in Jersey, you worked with Dulquer in Sita Ramam, and you worked with Farhan Akhtar in Tufan. How did that happen? Because this is one of those very, very key things that an actor needs in his career, to be seen as an A-lister.
Yeah, but Atika, short span, I think 10 years is not short span. Yeah. Okay. I started facing camera in 2012, and we are in 2022 right now. Obviously, when you do when you be a part of a good film like Love Sonia was that for me. It reached out to so many audience out there, so many filmmakers out there. Nikhil Advani sir actually saw Love Sonia. I got Batla House. Then Nikhil Advani sir recommended my name to Rakesh sir for Tufan, and for Jersey also. I think Jersey happened because of Sneha, I must say, who works for me, and she recommended my name. And I was not many of them know that I had actually met the makers for Kabir Singh. For Preeti's character, but I was little skeptical about playing that character because I don't think my family was open enough to see me in that avatar, I must say.
Yeah,
So I
sure.
had to unfortunately let it go, and I feel like I wish I was a part of that film, but it was meant to be to work with Shahid Kapoor, and if it was not Kabir Singh, it is Jersey. So I'm
Just,
happy that
yeah.
I remember meeting Shahid for the first time, and I was like very excited to play the part, and I think Gautam sir also is our director.
Good morning, you're tuned into CNN News 18 and I am Poonam Burde, and the big story we're tracking at this hour, in fact, we're just standing by for Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh to reach Jodhpur, the airbase there, wherein made in India 15 light combat helicopters are going to be inducted into the Indian Air Force. It is not just a big boost for our muscle power as far as the IAF is concerned, it is also a major boost for the Made in India program, a program that the Prime Minister himself has been pushing forth, especially as far as the defense sector is concerned. My colleague Akash is with me. We're getting you the very latest from on ground as well from Jodhpur. Also, to put this in perspective for us, Major General A.K. Sivach, a defense expert, also joining us on this broadcast. And Major General Sivach, I'd like to ask you, as far as the capabilities of this light combat helicopter is concerned, the major plus point is that it is well trained to function in high altitude deployments. That definitely is going to be a big plus point as far as our eastern border is concerned, because China and its aggression has really been a concern not just in the Ladakh region but also in Arunachal.
Absolutely correct. See, the point was, we have seen in Kargil war that we did not have any attack helicopter which can basically engage target more than 15,000 feet. An Apache attack helicopter which we took is the state of art, the best in the category, but it is heavier, it is 10 ton. We need a light combat helicopter of about 6 ton, and that is how this helicopter has been developed by our own HAL. So indigenously prepared, and it has got some qualities and capability which are not there with any combat aircraft of its comparison. See, it is a one light helicopter. It can take off from all helipads more than 15,000 feet. It can engage the target up till 21,000 feet. It can have a stealth technology. It is very difficult to detect by the radar. It has a armor all round. So the small arms fire will not make a difference. It has capability of flying up till 21,000 feet. So it can operate in Siachen Glacier as well in eastern Ladakh. Also operate in northeast, not only in high altitude of Arunachal Pradesh, but also for counterinsurgency operation. So it has proved its mettle, and it is made in India. It is manufactured by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. And the point is, it drives three things. One is that we will have a capability of a light combat helicopter which can operate more than 15,000 feet, which is a requirement of day. Second is, the same aircraft can operate not only high altitude, can operate in jungle as well in desert. Third thing is, this aircraft is the best in the category which it is, because it has got a stealth technology. It is a state-of-art weapon system. It has got Mistral air-to-air missile which we have taken from France, and it is capable of engaging any target, and its body has an armor that it will be protected against as far as the small arms fire are concerned. And it's another very important thing is that on the helmet of the pilot, you have all the panels which are there in cockpit. Overall, a state of art. It is an excellent move. The 15 aircraft or light combat helicopter are being now commissioned. 10 for the Air Force and 5 subsequently for Army, about 3,500 crore. Make in India concept, Atmanirbhar. It is not only that we are manufacturing for our country itself, we will able to export to the country which we will require, because this is such a excellent light combat helicopter, best in the category. I'm sure like Tejas Mark 1, where there is a demand from other countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, South Africa, you will find demand coming even for light combat helicopter. So I will certainly sum up, it is a game changer, it is a force multiplier, and it is the best light combat helicopter available in the light category.
Absolutely, and like you've been mentioning, as far as the Make in India push or the self-reliance in the defense sector for India is concerned, Indian weapons really are ruling the roost, isn't it? Because this is not just the one single chopper that we are talking about. There are several recently inducted, recently being made indigenous weapons, indigenous boost to the Indian forces. It definitely is sending a clear message out to the world.
Absolutely. See, India has come up because we have 200 items which are been on a negative import list. It means these items will be manufactured within country and we will able to export. You remember what happened? INS Vikrant aircraft carrier has been indigenously manufactured by us. No one could even dream 15 years back. And same way you find plethora weapons which we are doing. Akash missile, Nag anti-tank missile. Then we are ATAGS. Basically advanced towed RT gun system, Dhanush RT gun system, which is a copy of Bofors. Then we are also manufacturing submarine. We are now manufacturing basically light combat aircraft, Tejas Mark 1 Alpha, and all these, there is a lot of demand coming, and we are exporting, especially Tejas Mark 1 and also BrahMos missile, which has been jointly manufactured between India and Russia. So there the demand is so huge. So overall, I will say that in the present scenario, we are not only manufacturing for our own requirement, but there is a huge, order coming for export, and we will able to earn about 25,000 crore rupees in by another year or two. So this is a good move. Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat has really taken the Indian industry, Indian defense industry to a much higher heights.
Absolutely. Major Shivaj, do stay on with me because my colleague Ashish is also joining us on this broadcast now, and these visuals, viewers, that are live on your screens are coming in from Jodhpur, where Defence Minister Rajnath Singh there just now embarking out of the plane that he arrived in from the national capital. In just a few minutes from now, he is going to be inducting those 15 light combat helicopters for the Indian Air Force, a major boost to the firepower of one of the wings of our armed forces. Several dignitaries of the IAF and others there felicitating Rajnath Singh as he arrives in Jodhpur. And Akash, is just a few minutes from now when that landmark induction is going to take place.
Exactly, and Poonam, you see, this is going to be a historic day for Indian Air Force because today we are going to induct these indigenously developed light combat helicopters. These are the attack helicopters that have been developed by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. And, going with the schedule, so it's 11 a.m. and Rajnath Singh has just reached the venue, which is the Jodhpur Air Force Station, strategically important and very crucial Air Force station for Indian Air Force. And as of now, we'll be seeing the puja ceremony first, and then we'll be seeing the water cannon welcome of these light combat helicopters, and then the remaining formalities. So, this is going to be a very important day. In fact, as it is starting with a puja ceremony, so it is an auspicious day as well. And, talking about the light combat helicopters, so we know that these are India's own and indigenously developed. And I was, listening to one of the experts who was saying that we have developed these helicopters not only for us, but we are also looking for the future possibilities of export. So as of now, this particular helicopter is very crucial. And, I want to mention the very fact, Poonam, when we talk about light combat helicopters, so these are not only the attack helicopters, but these helicopters have been developed keeping in mind the higher altitudes and specifically our border areas, given that in eastern Ladakh we have conditions where, we need a helicopter, we need a plane that has the highest ceiling. And talking about the light combat helicopter, so it has the maximum service ceiling of 6,500 meters, which is the highest of all. As of now, we are looking forward for this particular event, but this is going to be a game changer as per the expert and, those who constantly read and write on defense. And also, India is moving towards strengthening the Air Force fleet, and we have seen that how in March itself Prime Minister Narendra Modi led Cabinet Committee of Security approved these 15 procurements, out of which 10 will be used by Indian Air Force, and today we are going to receive the first batch of these particular helicopters. And the first batch of these particular helicopters will be raised here in Jodhpur Air Base, which is strategically important. And we know that how we are sharing our western boundaries with Pakistan, and this is going to be a very, very important. As of now, we are seeing these visuals where Rajnath Singh has just arrived the venue, and in some time from now, the formal induction will be starting, Poonam.
Right, we're standing by for that ceremony to begin. Like my colleague Akash was also pointing out, there will be a puja that will be conducted right before the 15 light combat helicopters are inducted into the Air Force. Now, Major General Shivaj, if you remember when Rajnath Singh was in France, as far as the Rafale delivery was concerned, there was Astra Puja that happened there as well, and there was a fair share of controversy as far as that had happened. Whether or not that happens today, of course, only time will tell, but this is not something new. As far as Indian traditions are concerned, to induct new weaponry, to induct anything new, to seek God's blessings is something that has been going on for years together.
Absolutely correct. This is not a new, strategy or technology or drill which we have started. This is always there. Whenever a new weapon system has been inducted in Indian Defence Forces, Shastra Puja is done by all, you can say, basically all dharm. That is MMG type, the Mandir, Masjid, Gurdwara, the Granthis, the priest, as well as the Hindu priest also comes, and then they induct it. The issue today is, it is a matter of pride. We take it, remember as far as वायुसेना के वायुयानों और वायुयों के साथ देकर उन्हें विजय प्रदान करें। हे परमपिता परमात्मा, आपसे प्रार्थना है कि आपके कृपा आशीर्वाद से भारतीय वायुसेना में नई LCH का आगमन हुआ है। इस नए LCH पर अपना आशीर्वाद बनाए रखें, इसे इसी शक्ति प्रदान करें कि ये हमारे दुश्मनों के लिए विध्वंस और विनाशकारी साबित हो। हे परमपिता परमात्मा, आपसे प्रार्थना है, माननीय रक्षा मंत्री, चीफ ऑफ एयर स्टाफ, कमांडिंग ऑफिसर 143 HQ और सभी वायु परिवार पर अपनी कृपा दृष्टि अपना आशीर्वाद बनाए रखना, सुख शांति समृद्धि और लक्ष्मी का आशीर्वाद प्रदान करना। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. صدق الله العظيم. يا الله سبحانه وتعالى يا الله تبارك عندكم بركة محمد الله. يا الله يجزاك سيدنا يا الله يجزاك ويجزاك الله يا الله يجزاك جميع الرحمن يوم القيامة. Ya Allah, pilot engineers, technicians, और ground crew या Allah, और इनके रहने वाले की हिफाजत करना। या Allah, हम सभी सामान नज़र करना। या Allah, तमाम दुआओं और रहने वालों अपने हबीब को शक्तियों को कबूल करना। अल्लाह खैर खल्क़ि मोहम्मद व आलिहि व सहाबिहि अजमईन बिरहमतिक या अरहमर राहिमीन।
अल्लाह से कौन का आशीर्वाद गुरु की फतेह श्री भगवती जी सहारे बाप श्री भगवती जी की पातशाही रसूली के तम भगवती समाचार नाम की लेंगे आए फिर अंदर बोलते अमिताभ से रामदास से होगी सहारे जिन्हें गुरु नाम से श्री हरिनाम श्री हरिकृष्ण जी दिया है जिस बेटे संत पुजाए के भागवत सुनिया कार्य नवनिवारा कहने से स्वामी जी सहारे रसने पातशाह साहिब श्री गोविंद सिंह जी महाराज स्वामी जी सहारे दसा पातशाही देव धन धन श्री घन साहब जी के पाठ पर सुन जी दादा ध्यान करके बोलो जी वाहिगुरु ਧੰਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਹੁਰਵਲ ਪਰਦੀ ਐਚਓਡੀ ਸੀ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ ਅਫਸਰ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ ਏਅਰਮੈਨ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ ਦੇ ਸਮੂਹ ਸੰਚਾਲਕ ਦੇ ਨਿਸ਼ਪਰਾਨੇ ਵਜੋਂ ਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਜੁਰੀ ਕਰਵਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਦੁਕਾਨ ਤੋਂ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨਾ ਹੈ ਅੰਗ ਸੰਸਾਈਓ के LCH ਦੇ ਜੰਗੀ ਜਹਾਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਨਿਵੇਦਨ ਦਾ ਸਹਿਤ ਕਰਾਈ ਹੈ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਆਪ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਅੰਗ ਸੰਸਾਈਓ ਨਾਲ ਹਰ ਮੈਦਾਨ ਤੇ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਅੜੇ ਸੇ ਝੜੇ ਸੋ ਕਲਾ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਵਰਤੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਨੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਸਮੂਹ ਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਵਿਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੌਮਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਸੀ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਾਈਚਾਰਾ ਵਧਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾਲਤਾ ਕਰਨੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਦੇ ਭਲੇ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਦਾਸ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਜੋ ਜੀ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਭਾਣੇ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਦਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋ ਨਿਹਾਲ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ
लाइट लग जाएगा
परमेश्वर के वचन पवित्र बाइबल में से वचन पढ़ा सुने परम पिता परमेश्वर प्रभु यीशु मसीह की ओर से हमें सहायता मिलती है जो आसमान और जमीन के सृष्टिकर्ता हैं। परमेश्वर प्रभु यीशु मसीह तुम्हारे आने जाने में तुम्हारी रक्षा और बरकत हमेशा हमेशा करते रहेंगे। आइए हम प्रार्थना करेंगे। हमारे जीवित महान स्वर्गीय परम पिता परमेश्वर प्रभु यीशु मसीह इस गौरवशाली समय के लिए हम आपका हृदय से धन्यवाद देते हैं। प्रार्थना करते हैं इस नए लड़ाकू हेलीकॉप्टर और लड़ाकू विमानों पर आपके आशीष और बरकत का हाथ होने पाए। ये हमारे दुश्मनों के लिए घातक और हमारे देश के लिए सदैव विजयी बनी रहे, ये हमारी आपसे विनती और प्रार्थना है। विनती निवेदन और प्रार्थना करते हैं हमारे आदरणीय रक्षा मंत्री जी के लिए, तमाम वायु सैनिकों के लिए, तमाम अधिकारियों के लिए, सब पर आपकी आशीर्वाद और आपकी कृपा दृष्टि सदैव बनी रहे। ये प्रार्थना प्रभु यीशु मसीह के नाम से मांगते हैं। आमीन आमीन आमीन। Ladies and gentlemen, look to your right. In the sky, you will find a 3-acre formation led by one light combat helicopter in defense, flown by Wing Commander Saurabh Sharma and Squadron Leader Anush Tiwari, flying by 2 LH Mark 4 on each side, flown by Wing Commander Arindam Gupta and Wing Commander Praneet Vasti Reddy. Followed by 3 Sukhoi 30 fighters flying at 780 km, flown by with Captain Saurabh Adhikari, Wing Commander Ankur Tulyar and Wing Commander Ravi Hooda.
The puja there just concluding, and the induction of the 15 light combat helicopters into the Indian Air Force there just happening as we speak. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is in attendance with several dignitaries from the Indian Air Force. This definitely is a major boost to the firepower, to the muscle of our armed forces, as well as to the Make in India push in the defence sector. A traditional water cannon salute will also be accorded to all of these 15 light combat helicopters as they are inducted into the Indian Air Force. A panel of experts continues to be with us to give us more perspective. And Major General Yash, more I'd like to get you in to talk about the traditional water cannon salute that we are going to expect in just a short while from now. We've seen this during the induction of several weaponry, several machinery into the Indian Air Force.
Yeah, this is now become the traditional manner in the aviation industry to welcome aircrafts on the tarmac. When they land, you give them a traditional water cannon salute. It's good. It looks nice, nice semantics. So this has come to stay, much like the Shastra Puja we just saw, where all the religious teachers are there. It is basically to give faith to our troops and to people watching that, okay, we do take care of religious sentiments also. So both water cannon salute is more modern in its approach, more of the Western concept, where when a new aircraft is landed or a VVIP lands, even they sometimes get a water cannon salute. So I think good to watch. Makes for nice, watching.
Absolutely. It also, I'm sure, enthusiasts, people who are watching these kind of ceremonies, trying to get a sense of what really this means for our country, for our defense capabilities. And as far as we talk about this particular light combat helicopter, Major Yashmore, it's not just about weapons and defense hardware as far as the Atmanirbharta push is concerned. India is also making strides as far as artificial intelligence is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. See, we have a long way to go. And while we are very happy that, where the artillery weapon systems are coming and Pinaka has finally getting inducted in some form. Dhruv has already proven itself to be quite a very good, multi-role helicopter. Now the LCH has come in. But let me also tell you that the timelines have really been very long. This helicopter, light combat helicopter, which is getting inducted in 2022 now in the month of October, was first conceived after the Kargil war in 1999. The cabinet sanction was given in 2006. And first time I saw a prototype in HAL was when I was visiting with the staff college student. I was of course, an instructor in staff college. The LCH will come. And first flight it took was 2010. So first time it flew in 2010. Sanctioned in 2006 somewhere or 2002, and now inducted in 2022. So as a nation, good, we are progressing, but we have to shorten the OODA loop. That means the way the warfare is changing, the way the technology is changing. Sometimes it should not happen that we are, carrying forward certain legacy systems. Now the drones have come into a major way. We are seeing in Ukraine the amount of helicopters of the Russian forces that have been shot down. Even fighter aircrafts have been shot down by low-cost missile systems. Missile systems, the air defense has really taken off much ahead of the way helicopters have progressed. Apaches, which you are using now, which we've recently inducted from the US, are about 30 to 40 years old technology. Right. So while and Atmanirbhar and all, but we have to shorten this the cycle of decision to action. So how quickly can we induct weapon systems in our armed forces once we have conceived a plan? That therein will lie the challenge for the Indian industry, for the DRDO, and of course the Ministry of Defense.
Absolutely, and that process has been streamlined from what we're learning from not just our sources within the ministry and also from experts. Major Shivaj, if you could also weigh in on that. The kind of urgency we now see, especially for a push for Make in India, it's also high on optics. We are making in India for India. So it goes on to, also send a clear message that we don't really need to put our effort, to put our faith in other countries. We are going towards self-reliance, and it won't be long once we have other countries depending on us as well.
Absolutely, Kai. See, the point is the mindset has changed. In last 10 years, the mindset of the government is different. Now the aim is to make in India an Atmanirbhar Bharat. Earlier, we used to be importing almost 70 to 80% of our weapon system. Now it has been reduced to almost 40 to 50%. We are manufacturing almost 30 to 40% within country. And there is a collaboration between the public sector and the private sector. DRDO along with the private sector. Our approach is two prong. One is that maximum weapon we will manufacture in India, sir, and not only for the requirement of the nation, but also we will able to export. And the technology which is not being able to be developed still by India, it's a state of art. We will take that technology, but transfer of technology will take place. Right. For an example, M777 ultralight howitzer, which we took from US, has been made by Mahindra Defense. Same way the K9 Vajra self-propelled gun for mechanized warfare, which we took from South Korea, is manufactured within India by L&T. So the point is that in last about 10 to 12 years, the whole mindset has changed. We are now manufacturing state-of-art weapon. I do agree that OODA loop, as well as the time when we conceive and the time we produce the product, that has to be reduced. I think in time to come it will be reduced, but certainly we can say it's a matter of pride that the way we are now manufacturing the weapons within our own nation, and not only for our own requirement, we will able to also export. See, BrahMos missile, there is a requirement from 7 to 8 countries. See, Tejas Mark 1 Alpha, there is a requirement for almost 4 countries.
Right.
You remember what is happening is Pinaka is being now exported to Armenia, which they have asked for it. So the point is, one after the other weapon system, the made in India is state of art. Transfer of technology is also taking place. I think we have now come a long way. We have to further improve, no doubt about it, because it is a continuous process. But India
Absolutely, but
has
this definitely is one step and one big step in the right direction, and that's really what we are celebrating today. I request you both gentlemen to stay on with me, because even as we get these visuals live coming in from Jodhpur, you can also catch all the very latest, not just on this big game changer for the armed forces, but every other news update on India's #1 streaming channel. All you have to do is log on to youtube.com CNN News 18 and stay up to date with the latest news updates around the world. But that is time for a quick break here on this edition, but lots lined up for you on your channel. Don't go anywhere.
Really discouraged during this phase where they think that why is no work coming, but this time is actually to groom ourselves and to be a better performer. Last time I learned mixed martial arts, a little bit of jiu-jitsu and animal movement and kickboxing. Like Kathak is something that I have, I'm already introduced to, but ballet is something which is on my mind, and I want to on my language. I want to learn Telugu fluently so that in future, tomorrow when I go visit Hyderabad or Telangana, I want to speak fluently.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm working on
Ela
right
untaru.
now. Bagunnara. That much I know. I learned how to say Nenu Miku Premistunnanu, which means I love you. Nenu Miku Dveshistunnanu, which means I hate you. So all these small little things are beautiful. I would love to explore that language, and I want to learn. That's on my agenda.
Mrinal, what is the art of being seen by the right people? Like you said, Nikhil Advani called me, and you said that I got a call from them, I got a call from him. What is the art of putting yourself out there? How do you catch the attention of the filmmakers? This is for all the actors that are waiting somewhere, but don't know how to get spotted.
I think I owe my career to all the film festivals that my Love Sonia has been has been screened at. This is a very difficult question. Trust me, Atika, I was myself struggling really hard because I felt like Love Sonia was such a difficult film to pull off, and I felt like I was good, like I was okay, at least better than what I was in my previous work. But my question to myself, how do I get these filmmakers to watch my film? Having said that, it takes time. Trust me, in spite of being existing into Bollywood for so long, I haven't really gotten something which is as character wise as meaty as Sita. I believe that whatever work I got in the past, I kept doing that. I literally rose from 5 scenes to 7 scenes to 10 scenes to 12 scenes. To all the actors, I just want to tell them one thing, that do not be ashamed of being a part of a film which offers 3 scenes but are good scenes.
Mrinal, you've been one of those few lucky actresses who in a very short span of your career have worked with the A-listers. You worked with Hrithik Roshan in Super 30, you worked with Shahid Kapoor in Jersey, you worked with Dulquer in Sita Ramam, and you worked with Farhan Akhtar in Tufan. How did that happen? Because this is one of those very, very key things that an actor needs in his career, to be seen as an A-lister.
Yeah, but Atika, short span, I think 10 years is not short span, yeah.
Okay.
I started facing camera when in 2012 and we are in 2022 right now. Obviously, you know, when you do when you be a part of a good film like Love Sonia was that for me, it reached out to so many audience out there, so many filmmakers out there. Nikhil Advani sir actually saw Love Sonia. I got Batla House. Then Nikhil Advani sir recommended my name to Rakesh sir.
Dhruv and Rudra. Induction of the light combat helicopter adds a unique capability to Indian Air Force's combat potential. The versatility and offensive potential of this platform is at par or better than most attack helicopters operating globally. Its ability to deliver a wide array of weapons combined with superlative self-protection capability makes this helicopter a lethal machine, one to be feared by any adversary. The helicopter has also successfully proved itself in the daunting heights of the Himalayas. 143 Helicopter Unit has the proud privilege of being the first LCH equipped unit in the armed forces. The personnel of the unit have been specially selected based on their professional competence so as to operationalize the unit at the earliest and to exploit the helicopter to its full potential. I compliment the commanding officer for timely completion of training and acceptance of the helicopters, and I am confident that 143 Helicopter Unit will take the light combat helicopter to heights of glory. I wish the CEO and his team all the very best for the future. My compliments to Hindustan Aeronautics Limited for their sustained effort and dedication put in towards delivering this truly modern and capable helicopter. It is historically significant that this induction ceremony is being held at Jodhpur, an airbase which has nearly a century of association with aviation, and one that has brought glory to the Indian Air Force and the nation. I congratulate the AOC-NC Southwestern Command and AOC of 32 Wing on a well-organized induction ceremony, and I am confident that they will drive the operationalization process of the fleet with vigor. I once again wish 143 success in its endeavors. Happy landings. Thank you and Jai Hind.
अब मैं निवेदन करती हूँ माननीय रक्षा मंत्री श्री राजनाथ सिंह जी से, श्रीमान कृपया सभा को संबोधित करें।
आदरणीय महाराजा गज सिंह जी, मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट श्री राजेंद्र जी गहलोत, जनरल अनिल चौहान, चीफ ऑफ डिफेंस स्टाफ अंडर सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ मिलिट्री अफेयर्स, एयर चीफ मार्शल श्री वी.आर. चौधरी, चीफ ऑफ एयर स्टाफ, श्री सी.बी. अनंत कृष्णन, सीएमडी हिंदुस्तान एरोनॉटिक्स लिमिटेड, रक्षा मंत्रालय, डिफेंस सर्विसेज, एचएएल एवं राजस्थान सरकार के सभी सीनियर ऑफिशियल्स, मेरे मीडिया के मित्रों, देवियों व सज्जनों, आज इंडियन एयरफोर्स में देश के प्रथम इंडिजिनस लाइट कम्बैट हेलीकॉप्टर का इंडक्शन हो रहा है। प्रचंड शक्ति, प्रचंड वेग और प्रचंड प्रहार की क्षमता वाले इस LCH का इंडक्शन हमारी एयरफोर्स की कैपेबिलिटीज में बढ़ोतरी के साथ साथ रक्षा उत्पादन क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भरता की ओर भी यह एक बड़ा कदम है। अमृतकाल की प्रारंभिक बेला में इस पराक्रमी LCH का इंडक्शन देश की आजादी के शताब्दी वर्ष तक इंडियन एयरफोर्स को दुनिया की सर्वश्रेष्ठ एयरफोर्स बनाने में आपके संकल्प को दर्शाता है। साथ ही यह शताब्दी वर्ष तक रक्षा उत्पादन क्षेत्र को पूर्ण आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के आपके संकल्प को भी दिखाता है। इसके लिए मैं इंडियन एयरफोर्स, हिंदुस्तान एरोनॉटिक्स लिमिटेड और इस आयोजन से जुड़े समस्त लोगों को अपनी ओर से हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं और शुभकामनाएं भी देता हूं। LCH जैसा सूरमा के इंडक्शन समारोह के लिए आदिशक्ति महादुर्गा की उपासना के पर्व नवरात्र से अच्छा समय
और राजस्थान की धरती से उपयुक्त कोई जगह शायद ही कोई हो सकती थी। साथियों, देश में जब जब वीरों के शौर्य और पराक्रम की चर्चा होती है और किसी राज्य का नाम स्वतः जुबान पर चला आता है, वह राज्य और कोई नहीं बल्कि वह स्थान राजस्थान ही होता है। महाकवि कालिदास की प्रशंसा में आप लोगों ने एक श्लोक सुना होगा। कहा गया है, पुरा कवि नाम गणना प्रसंगे कनिष्ठिकाधिष्ठति कालिदासः, यानी कवियों की गणना में कालिदास का नाम कनिष्ठिका अंगुली पर आता है। और आप लोग जानते हैं कि हमारे हाथ में सबसे छोटी उंगली का नाम ही कनिष्ठिका होता है। पुराने समय में जब किसी को गिनती करनी होती थी तो वे इसी उंगली से ही अपनी गिनती प्रारंभ करते थे। क्योंकि कवियों का नाम शुरू करते ही सबसे पहले कालिदास का नाम आ गया, तो कहा गया कि कवियों की गिनती में कालिदास मानो कनिष्ठिका पर विराजते हैं, यानी सर्वप्रथम नाम उनका ही आता है। पर उनके जैसे किसी दूसरे कवि के बारे में सोचा जाने लगा तो उनके समक्ष दूसरा कवि दूर दूर तक नहीं मिला। अब अगली उंगली का नाम क्या रखा जाए? तो हुआ कि अगली उंगली को अनाम ही रहने दिया जाए और इस तरह कनिष्ठिका की अगली वाली उंगली को अनामिका कहा जाने लगा। रिंग फिंगर को संस्कृत और हिंदी में अनामिका ही कहा जाता है। ठीक उसी तरह जब देश के महान वीर योद्धाओं और पराक्रमी व्यक्तित्वों की बात होने लगती है तो राजस्थान का नाम कनिष्ठिका पर ही आता है। यहाँ का शायद ही कोई कोना हो जिसने हमारे देश को वीर योद्धा न दिए हों। पृथ्वीराज चौहान, महाराणा प्रताप से लेकर 1971 में लोंगोवाल में लड़े हमारे बहादुर जवानों के ऐसे अनगणित किस्से हैं जब हमारे वीर योद्धाओं ने अपनी जान की बाजी लगाकर संघर्ष किया और अंतिम सांस तक दुश्मनों से अपने देश की रक्षा की। राजस्थान में भी जोधपुर सोने पर जैसे सुहागा, राव जोधाजी राठौड़ से लेकर वीर दुर्गादास राठौड़ और ऐसे ही अनेक वीरों की भूमि रही है। उसी विख्यात विरासत के एक महत्वपूर्ण प्रतिनिधि, ओजस्वी व्यक्तित्व के धनी महाराजा गज सिंह जी आज यहाँ हमारे बीच उपस्थित हैं। आपके बारे में मैं क्या कहूं, आपका नाम अपने आप में इतना ही कुछ कह देता है। गज और सिंह दोनों है आपके नाम में। आप हमारी ज्ञान परंपरा में गज को ज्ञान और गंभीर का प्रतीक माना गया है और सिंह को सामर्थ्य का प्रतीक माना गया है। और जितना मैं आपको जानता हूं, आप इन दोनों के समन्वय हैं और अपने नाम को आप पूरी तरह चरितार्थ करते हैं। आप जैसे व्यक्तित्वों के कारण राठौड़ की ख्याति इतनी दूर दूर तक पहुंची जहां खुद राठौड़ भी नहीं पहुंच सके। राजस्थान की यह वीर प्रसूता धरती आज LCH के इंडक्शन की साक्षी बन रही है, तो यह LCH इंडियन एयरफोर्स समेत समस्त राष्ट्र के लिए बड़ा एक गर्व का विषय है। साथियों, आजादी से लेकर अब तक भारत की संप्रभुता को सुरक्षित रखने में इंडियन एयरफोर्स की बेहद शानदार भूमिका रही है। इंटरनल थ्रेट्स हो या एक्सटर्नल, वार हो या पीस, इंडियन एयरफोर्स ने सदैव अपने अदम्य साहस, शौर्य और पराक्रम के साथ नेशनल सिक्योरिटी को मजबूती प्रदान की है। राष्ट्र को जब जब जरूरत पड़ी है, हमारी एयरफोर्स अपने करेज, कैपेबिलिटी और वर्सिटिलिटी के साथ राष्ट्र की अपेक्षाओं पर हमेशा यह खरी उतरी है। इस मल्टी रोल लाइट कम्बैट हेलीकॉप्टर के इंडक्शन के बाद इंडियन एयरफोर्स की भूमिका और अधिक प्रभावी रूप से हमारे सामने होगी, ऐसा मेरा विश्वास है। साथियों, एक लंबे समय से इंडियन एयरफोर्स ने न केवल राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा में अपनी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई है, बल्कि स्वदेशी रक्षा उत्पादन को भी पूरा इंडियन एयरफोर्स ने सपोर्ट किया है। वह चाहे मारुत हो, लाइट कम्बैट एयरक्राफ्ट हो, आकाश मिसाइल प्रणाली हो, एडवांस लाइट हेलीकॉप्टर हो या फिर आज शामिल होने वाला हमारा यह LCH हो। ऐसे अनेक उदाहरण देखे जा सकते हैं जो इंडिजिनस डिजाइन एंड डेवलपमेंट के प्रति इंडियन एयरफोर्स के भरोसे और सपोर्ट को यह दिखाते हैं। आज LCH का इंडक्शन इस बात का प्रतीक है कि देश जितना भरोसा इंडियन एयरफोर्स पर करता है, इंडियन एयरफोर्स भी उतना ही भरोसा स्वदेशी साजो सामान पर करती है। साथियों, अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर की जहां तक बात है, आजादी के बाद लंबे समय तक इस क्षेत्र में स्वदेशी तकनीक पर आवश्यक ध्यान नहीं दिया गया। इसका परिणाम यह हुआ कि इंडियन एयरफोर्स को फॉरेन ओरिजिन अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर पर ही निर्भर होना पड़ा। अपने तो अपने यूएन पीस कीपिंग मिशन के माध्यम से दूसरे देशों में भी कीर्तिमान स्थापित करने वाली हमारी वायुसेना को विदेशी अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर्स का सहारा लेना पड़ा। साथियों, देश में लंबे समय से स्वदेशी अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर्स की आवश्यकता महसूस की जा रही थी, पर 1999 में कारगिल युद्ध के दौरान इसकी जरूरत को गंभीरतापूर्वक अनुभव किया गया। तब से लेकर अब तक की यानी 2 दशकों की देश की रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट का प्रतिफल है LCH, और इंडियन एयरफोर्स में इसका इंडक्शन हमारे डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन की राह में एक इंपॉर्टेंट माइलस्टोन है। साथियों, LCH केवल रोटर्स, इंजन और ब्लेड्स के बल पर ही नहीं उड़ रहा है, बल्कि मैं समझता हूं यह देश के अनेक साइंटिस्ट, इंजीनियर, मैसेनिस्ट और अन्य कर्मियों की तपस्या, धैर्य, समर्पण और देश प्रेम के बल पर उड़ रहा है। हमारी परंपरा में भौतिक वस्तुओं के साथ साथ वस्तुओं के प्रति भावनात्मक लगाव को भी बड़ा स्थान दिया गया है। इस दृश्य वस्तुओं के प्रति हमारी अदृश्य भावनाओं की शक्ति को भी इस देश ने जाना है और समझा है। भारत में वेपन्स, इक्विपमेंट और प्लेटफॉर्म्स को भी आध्यात्मिकता के नजरिए से देखा गया है। परसों यानी विजयदशमी के दिन होने वाली शस्त्र पूजा के पीछे यही कारण विद्यमान है। LCH के डेवलपर्स में भी मैं तप, त्याग, समर्पण और राष्ट्र के प्रति निष्ठा देखता हूं। जहां ये सब गुण होते हैं, विजयश्री का आशीर्वाद भी वही होता है। इस संदर्भ में मुझे विजयदशमी से जुड़ी रामायण की एक घटना का स्मरण होता है, जिसका जिक्र मैं यहां पर करना चाहूंगा। साथियों, राम रावण युद्ध का अंतिम दौर चल रहा था। उच्च कोट के रथ पर सवार अनेक प्रकार के अस्त्र शस्त्रों से सुसज्जित होकर युद्ध क्षेत्र में पहुंचे रावण को देखकर विभीषण को बड़ी ग्लानि हुई, बहुत चिंता हुई। रावण रथी विरथ रघुवीरा, देख विभीषण हयउ अधीरा, यानी विभीषण बड़े चिंतित हुए, क्योंकि राम के पास न ही उच्च कोट का कोई रथ था और न ही किसी प्रकार का कोई कवच। विभीषण के मन में सवाल उठता है कि राम इस तरह युद्ध में रावण का सामना कैसे कर सकेंगे, वे युद्ध कैसे जीत पाएंगे। इसी चिंता के साथ वह राम के पास जाते हैं। राम तो राम हैं। उन्होंने विभीषण की स्थिति समझते हुए मुस्कुराते हुए उनसे कहा, रावण के पास भले ही विशाल रथ और अस्त्र शस्त्र हैं, पर वे विजय वाले नहीं हैं। केवल भौतिक संसाधन ही किसी की विजय सुनिश्चित नहीं करते हैं। उसके लिए कुछ और चाहिए होता है जो हमारे पास है, और इसलिए निश्चित ही जीत हम सब की होगी। अब वह और कुछ राम के पास क्या था जिन पर राम को इतना भरोसा था। गोस्वामी तुलसीदास जी कुछ चौपाइयों में उसका बहुत सुंदर वर्णन करते हैं, जिन्हें मैं आपके सामने रखना चाहूंगा। राम कहते हैं, सौरज धीरज ते ही रथ चाका, बल विवेक दृढ़ ध्वजा पताका, सत्यशील दम परहित घोड़े, क्षमा दया कृपा रजु तोड़े, ईस भजन सारथि सुजाना, संयम नियम शील मुखनाना, कवच अभेद विप्र गुरु पूजा, यही सम कोई उपाय न दूजा, महा अजय संसार रिपु, जीत सकहि तो वीर, जाके असबल हो ही दृढ़, सुनहु सखा मति धीर। यानी हमारे पास जो रथ है, शौर्य और धौर्य, शौर्य और धैर्य, उस विजय रथ के पहिए। विवेक और दृढ़ता की उसमें ध्वजा पताका लगी हुई है। सत्यशील, आत्मनिग्रह और परहित, ये 4 उस रथ के घोड़े हैं जो क्षमा, दया और कृपा रूपी रस्सियों से संचालित हैं। ईश्वर का ध्यान उस रथ का सारथी है। संयम, नियम, शील आदि सहायक हैं। विद्वानों और गुरुओं की कृपा ही हमारा अभेद्य या कवच है। और जिस वीर के पास इतना सब कुछ उपलब्ध है, उसे संसार का कोई भी योद्धा भला पराजित कैसे कर सकता है, और उसके बाद आगे क्या हुआ यह बताने की आप सबको आवश्यकता नहीं है। ठीक उसी प्रकार आज जब हमारे देश के अनेक साइंटिस्ट, एकेडमिशियंस, इंजीनियर्स, मैसनिस्ट और अन्य कर्मियों के धैर्य, शौर्य, तपस्या और समर्पण से निर्मित यह विजय रथ हमारी वायु सेना में शामिल हो रहा है, तो कोई प्रश्न नहीं उठता कि यह किसी भी परिस्थिति में विजय हासिल न कर सके। भारतीय आसमान में अब यह विजय रथ जोश, उत्साह और विजय का रंग बिखेरने के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार है। साथियों, मुझे बताया गया है कि LCH का डिजाइन और डेवलपमेंट मॉडर्न बैटलफील्ड की जरूरतों के अनुरूप किया गया है। अपने डेवलपमेंटल स्टेजेज में अनेक प्रकार की टेस्टिंग में इसने तमाम चुनौतियों से निपटने में अपनी योग्यता दिखाई है। LCH दुश्मनों को चकमा देते हुए विभिन्न प्रकार के एमिनिशंस को कैरी करने और शीघ्रता से यथार्थ स्थान पहुंचने में सक्षम है। यह वर्सटाइल हेलीकॉप्टर विभिन्न टेरेन में हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेज की जरूरतों पर पूरी तरह यह खरा उतरता है। ऐसे में LCH हमारी आर्मी और एयरफोर्स दोनों के लिए एक आइडियल प्लेटफॉर्म है। साथियों, मानवता के विकास के क्रम में मानव ने जो उपलब्धियां हासिल की हैं, उसमें हैवी मटेरियल से लाइट मटेरियल की ओर आगे बढ़ना भी एक शानदार उपलब्धि रही है। वह चाहे फूड ग्रेन के संदर्भ में हो, पहनने के लिए कपड़े के संदर्भ में हो, स्पेस संबंधित एक्टिविटीज के संदर्भ में हो, या फिर डिफेंस से संबंधित इक्विपमेंट और प्लेटफॉर्म्स के संदर्भ में हो। इसी समय खासकर ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन के पहले सावा, मक्का, बाजरा, ज्वार आदि मोटे अनाज बहुतायत में खाए जाते थे, क्योंकि गेहूं, चावल जैसे अनाज उतने उपलब्ध नहीं थे। पर ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन के बाद लोग इन अनाजों की तरफ अधिक उन्मुख हुए हैं। कपड़ों के मामले में भी टेक्नोलॉजी के अभाव में लोगों को मोटा कपड़ा पहनना पड़ता था, और समय के साथ साथ हल्के और पतले कपड़े आते गए और हमारी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी का यह हिस्सा बनते चले गए। अभी कुछ ही दिन पहले हमारी सेना ने भी नई यूनिफॉर्म एडॉप्ट की है, जो पहले की अपेक्षा हल्की है और आरामदेह भी है। सेनाओं में इस्तेमाल होने वाले बुलेट प्रूफ जैकेट भी, जो पहले काफी भारी होते थे, अब उसकी गुणवत्ता के साथ साथ लाइट वेट में आने लगी हैं। इसी तरह लाइट मेटल की खोज के बाद दुनिया में अनेक स्पेसशिप प्रोग्राम भी यह शुरू किए गए हैं। इसके अलावा मोबाइल फोन, कंप्यूटर आदि अनेक उदाहरण लिए जा सकते हैं, जो कपड़े और जो पहले बड़े वजनी हुआ करते थे, पर समय के साथ छोटे और स्मार्ट होते चले गए। जाहिर है डिफेंस सेक्टर में भी यह प्रक्रिया चालू है। साथियों, पूर्व में सेनाओं ने हाथी जैसे बड़े जानवरों से अधिक एक्टिव घोड़ों की तरफ रुख किया, बड़ी और भारी तोपों से मशीन गन की तरफ रुख किया, हैवी टैंक से लाइट टैंक्स की ओर रुख किया, जो हाई अल्टीट्यूड और माउंटेन फ्रंटियर पर अपेक्षाकृत अधिक कारगर होते हैं। हालिया यूक्रेनियन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो या इसके पहले की अनेक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स हों, हमें लेसन्स देते हैं कि हैवी वेपन सिस्टम और प्लेटफॉर्म जो बैटलफील्ड में त्वरित गति से मूवमेंट नहीं कर पाते हैं, उनकी कैपेबिलिटी भी कम होती है और कई बार वे दुश्मनों के लिए इजी टारगेट हो जाते हैं। इसलिए रिसेंट कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स में हैवी मशीन्स के इस्तेमाल पर एक क्वेश्चन मार्क देखने को मिला है। ऐसे में उन इक्विपमेंट्स और प्लेटफॉर्म्स के डेवलपमेंट की ओर आगे बढ़ना यह समय की मांग थी, जो मोबाइल हो, जिनके मूवमेंट में आसानी हो, अधिक फ्लेक्सिबल हो, और इन सब के साथ साथ लिथैलिटी और अन्य कैपेबिलिटीज की जरूरतों पर भी वो पूरी तरह से खरे उतरते हो। इस संदर्भ में मैं हमारे LCH के इंजीनियर्स की मैं सराहना करना चाहूंगा, जिन्होंने LCH में इन सब खासियतों का एक अभूतपूर्व संतुलन स्थापित किया है।
We're shifting focus from the induction of the light combat helicopters to a bomb threat news that is now coming to the fore on board an Iranian passenger jet over the Indian airspace. The jet's final destination is in China, but it was over the Indian airspace when that bomb threat was made. IAF jets have now been scrambled and alarm bells have been sent ringing as well. Passenger jet is now moving towards China is what we're given to understand, and the IAF is on high alert, taking note of what perhaps lies on board that passenger jet. Abhishek Jha, my colleague, now joins us for more on this. Abhishek, alarm bells there ringing, but what's the latest?
Of course, and there is this high alert that has been stated, and we know so far that there has been one bomb threat that has been made on board an Iranian Mahan Airlines, which has started its flight from Tehran, and it was on way to Guangzhou in China. In between, there has been a bomb threat that was made. The passenger on board, they tried to contact air traffic control of Delhi, and they asked them for permission to land in Delhi. However, they were asked to divert to Jaipur because that was probably one destination where ATC tried to divert that plane. However, very soon, without any further conversation, that plane had left Indian airspace, and now it is being observed to be moving towards China from to where it was destined. It was destined to Guangzhou province in China. So far, there has not been any further details as to whether this was a hostage situation that was being planned or there was some bomb hoax that was on board and pilots just tried to avoid any threat to the plane and the passengers and just wanted to navigate through this crisis and land in Delhi just to avoid any suspicion. So we are not sure about those hostage crises or just a bomb hoax, but we know that there has been a bomb threat made to ATC in Delhi, and now the plane, after the IF has also been put on high alert, and there has been reports of jets being scrambled. Now the Tehran to that plane, which was on way to Guangzhou in China from Tehran, has left the Indian airspace. That is the latest that we have information on.
Right, do stay on with me because like you've been mentioning, Sukhoi 30 fighter jets have also been scrambled. But Anand is now joining us live. And Anand, if you could take our viewers through the flight path really, because now we're given to understand that the passenger jet is en route to its destination.
Yes, it is. And as we see, now I'm just going to tell you, this is the W581. That's the Mahan Air flight that was present there. And now this is the flight tracker that we were having a look at. Now, if you look at it, here in New Delhi, around New Delhi, it does a circle. And then it was supposed to, the suggestion made was that you head to Jaipur, but the pilot refused to head to Jaipur. This flight is taken off. It's a Mahan Air flight that's taken off from Tehran and heading to Guangzhou. But now if you look at the flight tracker, the fighter jets were scrambled to escort or to watch this plane, but it's flown over the Indian airspace all the way over UP, Bihar, and then flown over Bangladesh airspace also, and it's crossed Tripura, and now this flight at this point is heading out. It's headed out towards the Mandalay or Myanmar. So it's actually going to fly over Myanmar and perhaps go towards its intended destination in the Yunnan province and towards Guangzhou. So it just looks like it is continuing. It was very intriguing that the flight at this point has crossed Indian airspace and it's flown out of Tripura and it is now in Myanmar. So clearly the Sukhoi 30 and the jets now have moved out of the Indian airspace. So that's what we are getting to understand. So this was the flight that was making its way. This flight, the IRM 081, now this flight has now moved its way and it's flown out. So it's over Tripura and it's moved out of the Indian airspace. That's what we are given to understand. It's now entering Myanmar and headed towards Mandalay. Now it looks like it's going to cross over this region and enter into the Yunnan province and head towards its final destination. So it's quite intriguing what has happened, that there is a bomb scare call that's come from the ATC wanting to land this plane in New Delhi. The authorities say no, you redirect the flight and take it towards Jaipur, because if it lands in Delhi, then the entire airport, Delhi airport, will have to be closed and sealed. Jaipur is just about a half-an-hour drive on the flight path or a half-an-hour flight from the flight path or a detour. but the pilot refusing to land the flight in Jaipur and then deciding to continue on. So it's quite interesting and intriguing to know why is it that after a bomb threat and requesting an emergency landing in Delhi, the flight is actually now continuing, and if you were to see its path, it's crossed over the Indian airspace beyond Tripura and Manipur. It's already now in Myanmar's airspace. So it's flown over the Indian airspace, flown over Bangladesh, so there's no landing in Bangladesh either, and it's flown outside of the Indian airspace. So the Sukhoi jets that were scrambled, they were scrambled to ensure that this flight does not make a detour or land and does perhaps they were scrambled just to watch this plane and what is happening and what is the further communication. But now it is out of the Indian airspace, so clearly our fighter jets would have returned, and this flight is now, if you look at it, it's cutting across and will enter the Chinese mainland in about an hour, in the next, say, 45 minutes to an hour. But this is clearly now out of the Indian airspace. It's in Myanmar's airspace right now. So it's moved beyond the Indian airspace at this point. And quite a bit of a scare and drama there over the last 1 hour, 1.5 hours that this flight was there over Indian airspace. So this has happened at about 10:30 in the morning. It's nearly about noon. And this is when this entire drama unfolded. If you see this flight path of this flight, it has tried to take a circle and hover around New Delhi. And then perhaps when it was asked or suggested that you head towards Jaipur, the pilot deciding, no, I'm not going to land there, and then flying down further. So one wonders if there was indeed a bomb threat and there was an emergency landing required in Delhi, why is it that the pilot refused to land in Jaipur, and how is it that the flight is now continuing onwards towards the path? So was it an unruly passenger in the flight who's now been overcome, and was it just a scare and there was no bomb threat at least, or has it been negated? We are still awaiting the details, but a lot of drama over the last 90 to 120 minutes over the Indian airspace. Back to you.
Absolutely, and for it to have actually cleared the Indian airspace, it would have taken over an hour or more after permission was denied for it to land in Delhi. Anand, do we have any details if the pilot or the crew actually got back in touch with the ATC?
Now, we are given to understand that the ATC would received a call that they with a request for an emergency landing as soon as the flight entered Indian airspace and was near Delhi. Then the ATC then suggested don't land in Delhi because Delhi is an international airport, huge amount of flights. Now the entire airport would have had to be sealed had there been an emergency landing there. So suggestion was made that a relatively lesser traffic at the Jaipur airport to land the plane in Jaipur. Right. The flight you see tried to do a circle around here. But the pilot refusing to fly to Jaipur and continuing on the onward journey. That's when the jets were scrambled to see if there is going to be a mid-air incident and if this flight needs to be escorted safely. Either it has to land in Jaipur or it has to be safely escorted outside of the Indian airspace. Now what's happened is from Delhi all the way over to Bihar and then into Bangladesh, over then to Tripura and Manipur, right. Over the next 90 minutes to 2 hours. This flight has been on Indian airspace, it was monitored, but it is now out of Indian airspace. So now it's not India's responsibility what happens. It's in the Myanmar's airspace and it is continuing to head in its natural trajectory.
Right, and it's well within its its way to towards its destination in China. And once it actually lands, we perhaps will find out more about the nature of that threat. For the moment, Abhishek and Anand, thank you so much for getting us the very latest about that bomb threat that took place over the Indian airspace, but that has now been thwarted, so to say, because the flight is out of the Indian airspace for now. With that, we're slipping into a quick break, but lots more lined up for you on CNN News 18, so don't go anywhere.
Previous work, but my question to myself, how do I get these filmmakers to watch my film? Having said that, it takes time. Like, trust me, in spite of being existing into Bollywood for so long, I haven't really gotten something which is as character-wise as meaty as Sita. I believe that whatever work I got in the past, I kept doing that. I literally rose from 5 scenes to 7 scenes to 10 scenes to 12 scenes. To all the actors, I just want to tell them one thing, that do not be ashamed of being a part of a film which offers 3 scenes but are good scenes.
Mrinal, you've been one of those few lucky actresses who, in a very short span of your career, have worked with the A-listers. You worked with Hrithik Roshan in Super 30. You worked with Shahid Kapoor in Jersey. You worked with Dulquer in Sita Ramam. And you worked with Farhan Akhtar in Tufan. How did that happen? Because this is one of those very key things that an actor needs in his career to be seen as an A-lister.
Yeah, but Atika, short span, I think 10 years is not short span, yeah.
Okay.
I started facing camera when in 2012 and we are in 2022 right now. Obviously, you know, when you do when you be a part of a good film like Love Sonia was that for me, it reached out to so many audience out there, so many filmmakers out there. Nikhil Advani sir actually saw Love Sonia. I got Batla House. Then Nikhil Advani sir recommended my name to Rakesh sir for Tufan, and for Jersey also. I think Jersey happened because of Sneha, I must say, who works for me, and she recommended my name. And I was not many of them know that I.
Thank you so much for staying with CNN News 18. I'm Griha Atul Siddiqui, and we are beginning the top of 12 with this breaking news that we have been tracking. There's been a bomb threat on board an Iranian passenger jet plane over the Indian airspace with final destination to China, and this has triggered a high alert. In fact, the Indian Air Force jets have scrambled to actually take care of the fact that this particular Iranian aircraft is out of the Indian airspace. The passenger jet is now moving towards China, we are told, and security agencies are currently monitoring the plane. So this is something that had created a lot of furor when it comes to bomb threat on board a China-bound Iranian passenger jet. This was flying over the Indian airspace. Indian Air Force jets were made to scramble because of this massive threat. Abhishek, my colleague, is joining me on the broadcast. Abhishek, we are told that now, finally, this Iranian passenger plane is out of the Indian airspace. What more do we know about this?
So we know that initially there was this emergency landing request that was made by the pilot of the plane, which has took off from Tehran, and it was on way to China's Guangzhou. However, ATC denied the permission because there was this bomb threat that was made, and probably that would have sealed one of the largest international airport, Delhi. And so Delhi ATC decided to divert the plane to Jaipur, which was relatively less traffic and probably could have been logistically better off to manage. However, the pilot did not respond to that request and decided to not land Delhi and leave the Indian airspace. And we have, as the trackers have shown, the plane has diverted from Delhi to the eastern part of India, going from Bihar to Tripura, and now probably it is in the Myanmar's airspace and very well on track of its Chinese destination. So we don't know yet whether that bomb threat that was made on the plane was real, there was some hostage crisis, or it was just one unruly passenger which tried to threaten and create some suspicion in the plane of a bomb, and this whole crisis has happened. So we'll have to wait for the more details as and when it comes. For now, the plane has left Indian airspace and it is on way to its Chinese destination, Guangzhou.
Right, Abhishek, stay on with us. I'm also now joined on the broadcast by my colleague Anand Narasimhan, who will actually take us through what exactly was the kind of threat that we're looking at. Anand, over to you. You know, now that we're told that this particular Iranian passenger plane is out of the Indian airspace, but having said that, we're talking about a bomb scare here. What are the details when it comes to that, and also the movement and the trajectory of this entire aircraft that it took?
Well, good afternoon. Now, currently, this is where IRM 081. This is the flight in question. It's an Iranian airline or Mahan Air flight. It's an Airbus A340-642 with a registration EPMMR. It's flying at an altitude of 37,000 feet with an estimated landing at Guangzhou at 4:40 p.m. local time. Right now, this aircraft is over Myanmar, and it is heading to fly across Myanmar's airspace and straight into the Chinese airspace, which is the Yunnan province that you see, and it will head towards Guangzhou, which is again a port city. But here is where the drama happens. The drama is that as this aircraft entered Indian airspace and it was nearing Delhi, the pilot makes a phone call or reaches out to the ATC, not a phone call, but reaches out communications with an emergency communication to the ATC, Air Traffic Control in Delhi, and requests for an emergency landing citing a bomb threat. Now, if you see the trajectory of the flight, it's done a go around near the and its approach to the New Delhi airport, because the ATC denied permission in New Delhi, and because this is a busy airport, an aircraft which lands with a bomb threat, then the security protocols say that you got to shut down the runway and you got to block all the air traffic here. So what the ATC suggests is that he takes the flight to Jaipur, which is just a half-hour movement away at that altitude, and it could land in Jaipur. But the pilot refuses to land and takes the aircraft on its intended trajectory towards Guangzhou. So what's happened after the communication of a security threat or a bomb threat and request for an emergency landing, and then the pilot says, no, I'm going to continue, is something which now we are still awaiting details. Now, in the meantime, what's happening is the LCH has light combat helicopters have been dedicated to the country, to the Air Force, and inducted into the Air Force by the Raksha Mantri, and that's happening in Rajasthan. But Sukhoi jets were scrambled from the airbase in Rajasthan to try and give cover or to try and escort this flight wherever it is intended to go, because it is on Indian airspace and it's a threat. So the idea is that these flights, the Sukhois, were dashed to send immediately on emergency to try and escort this flight, and it looks like that the Sukhois have ensured that the flight continues on its path and flies over Uttar Pradesh, all of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and then into Bangladeshi airspace, back into Indian airspace with Tripura, and then flies over Tripura, and then goes across into Myanmar's airspace. So over the last 1.5 to 2 hours that it's been on Indian airspace, there has been a lot of drama that's happened, because there are visuals of Sukhois being scrambled from Rajasthan to try and once again track this passenger aircraft, that is W581 or the IRM 081 Mahan Air, Iranian airline, from Tehran all the way to Guangzhou. So this is the flight path. As you see, it's flown all over the Indian airspace. After this communication with the ATC, there has been no further communication with respect to an emergency or a threat by the pilot, and the flight has carried on in its intended path. Now, what's happened inside the aircraft, we'll know once the flight lands in Guangzhou, and there will be an update that will be taken. Why is it that a bomb threat or an emergency landing request was made citing a bomb threat, and why is it that the pilot then decided to carry on? So this is something where, is there an unruly incident that's happened? Is there a passenger who's tried to misbehave and claim a bomb threat, and then has that passenger been brought under control, and has the situation been brought under control inside the flight? We'll have to wait and watch, because we still do not know the details here, and we haven't got any further communication or update from the ATC or even the security machinery which would have been clearly tracking this flight. Now it's out of Indian airspace, so it's not India's concern what happens to this flight IRM 081 at the moment. But the Indian authorities would want an update as to what happened in that flight and why this call was made to the Delhi ATC.
Oh, absolutely. Considering the kind of drama that we have witnessed over these couple of hours, of course, there are a lot of questions that need to be answered. Anand, thank you so much for actually providing our viewers that perspective, and also taking our viewers through that entire flight path on how this particular Iranian passenger flight took to the Indian airspace. Now that it is out of it, let me take this across to my guest who's also joining me on the broadcast. Our Group Captain MJ Augustine Vinod joins me. Group Captain Vinod, Anand also was making some very, very strong points. The fact that there was an SOS distress call that was given to the ATS. However, the suggestion of landing in Jaipur was not really adhered to by the pilot in this case.
Absolutely. But, a couple of points that come to my mind. Firstly, as you can see behind me, if you can take me in a half screen or something, this is where the aeroplane is, and it has moved slightly forward maybe.
I'd request my producers to please Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so it has moved slightly forward into the Chinese airspace. But what Anand was covering, a very important point, is right behind me. On my here, where my finger is Indira Gandhi International Airport. And this is where he did that 4 orbits to land at Jaipur. And he probably was thinking whether to land or not land, what transpired between him and the cabin crew, all that will come out in the inquiry. But there is something called LRBL, so there is low risk bomb location. So if a bomb has been found on board, what cabin crew and other crew do is they take the bomb to the least risk bomb location, which is more often than not is the tail portion of the aircraft, and they try to reduce the risk by putting stuff around it, etc. So maybe the LRBL procedure was being enacted when he was orbiting, trying to land at Jaipur. That is my understanding of. Otherwise, there is no other way a pilot would or could know the bomb threat on board. Secondly, timing is important. Something which Anand alluded to. This particular flight path went north of Jodhpur when Rakshi was. No, the people on board this particular flight had what kind of thought process to time it in a manner when we were inducting the light combat helicopter at Jodhpur. So could it be? I mean, I'm just thinking aloud. Could it be that they were trying to do some kind of a 9/11 kind of an incident over Jodhpur? I don't know. All that will come out once this aeroplane
Vinod, I'd like
lands
to
and some
understand
kind of.
how can a pilot hold the ATS to ransom and still choose to fly over the Indian airspace? The fact that there was a bomb threat, that was initially, that was what the distress call was. In fact, hold on to your thoughts there, Group Captain Vinod. Let me take this quick piece of breaking news that we are also getting, which is pertaining to the same story. We are told that a lone Sukhoi jet was seen over the Jodhpur airspace, the Indian Air Force air base, before the light combat helicopter induction ceremony began and ahead of the arrival of the Defence Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh. Now, earlier today, Sukhoi jets were scrambled to address an aerial emergency with this Iranian passenger jet. To get us more perspective on this story, I'm now joined on the broadcast by my colleague Akash. Akash, just take us through more. What has happened over here?
So, right, you see, Griha, we already know about this ceremony that is happening at Jodhpur Airport Station, but, a lone Sukhoi jet was seen. And in fact, we have been given to understand that Indian Air Force was put on high alert just because of the this particular incident that happened in the morning itself. First, this particular flight asked for the permission to land at Delhi Airport, but it was denied for that. But at the very same time, Indian Air Force was also put on high alert to deal with any sort of possible aerial emergency, and that's the reason why we have seen this, lone Sukhoi jet that was flying above the Jodhpur Air Force Station. And, we know that today we are going to induct the light combat helicopter, and, at the very same time, this incident came into fore where we got to know that a foreign airline, that was moving towards China, a bomb threat was given in that particular, airline, and after that, the pilot asked for Delhi for the emergency landing, but it was denied. Then they also asked for the Jaipur landing, but it was denied as well. But as of now, what we're learning is that the particular plane is out of Indian airspace. But this is something big because we know that we have an important day today where we are going to induct these light combat helicopters at Jodhpur, and this event is in fact is happening as of now. But as of now, we haven't got any sort of official confirmation as to if Indian Air Force was put on alert, but these Sukhoi jets were seen in the airspace.
Right. And Akash, this was right before the Raksha Mantri's arrival at the ceremony, for the ceremony?
Exactly, it was at the very same time when Raksha Mantri was there. In fact, we know that when we talk about induction ceremony, so Griha, puja ceremony and then the water cannon salute and a lot many things were lined up, and we know the formalities of induction, and it happened at the very same time when Raksha Mantri landed at that particular venue. And these Sukhoi, in fact, we have been given to understand that Air Force was put on high alert, not only the Jodhpur Air Station but also at Chandigarh. Preparations were in full swing, and Indian Air Force officers were all set to deal with any sort of possible situation. But as of now, it has been averted just because the particular plane is out of Indian airspace now.
All right, Akash, stay on with us. Let me take this across to my colleague Poonam, who's also now joining us from the CNN News 18 newsroom. Poonam, if we talk about the trajectory and also these new details that are emerging, of course, this was a massive threat that has sort of been averted. And also the timing is really crucial here, because now we are told that right before the defense minister's arrival at the induction ceremony in Jodhpur, there was a Sukhoi jet that was seen scrambling in that airspace. So probably this distress call, this SOS call was made right then. Just take us through all that has happened ever since these dramatic turn of events.
Yes, at about 10:30 a.m. is when we're given to understand is where that distress call came to the fore to the ATC, to which the ATC said, we cannot give you permission to land in the national capital. We can, in fact, suggest for you to land in Jaipur. Now, that request was not adhered to by the by the pilot of this particular flight. This is a flight which is flying in to China. It's coming in from Tehran, and this is the trajectory that we have seen of the particular flight. It is now well into the Myanmarese airspace. It is moving forward from there towards its destination. It's well on track to reach its destination. But what exactly happened in that one and a half hour that it was over the Indian airspace, that is something that we're yet to ascertain, because we do not yet have details of whether or not the pilot or the crew actually got back in touch with the ATC after they were told to land in Jaipur and they decided not to. What happened from then up until it actually crossed out of the Indian airspace, that's something that yet to be ascertained. We don't know if this was just a hoax, if it was an unruly passenger. All of that, all of those details will only come to the fore once the flight actually lands at its destination in China.
Poonam, we're talking about almost 1.5 to 2 hours over here. There was a suggestion that was made by the ATC to actually get the plane to land in Jaipur. However, something that was denied by the pilot on board, and we're talking about the Iranian passenger aircraft over here. How then is it possible for that entire aircraft to go ahead and fly into the Indian airspace, because of which, of course, there was a lot of security concern? Remember, we're talking about a bomb threat here. Do we know about the details there?
Griha, so far we do not have details of what exactly transpired on board, but because it was a threat that could not have been taken lightly, exactly why and for that specific reason is why Sukhoi 30s were actually pressed into action almost immediately after that threat call came to the fore. There were at least 2 of them that intercepted that particular flight, flew along with it, tracking it, monitoring it, perhaps trying to ascertain what exactly was happening on board up until the time that it actually left the Indian airspace. By now, it is well out of our airspace. It has now crossed over outside of Myanmar as well. So our Sukhoi 30s are perhaps back at the base that they were scrambled on from. But given that the Sukhoi 30s intercepted, ensured that the plane was out of the Indian airspace and then came back to their respective bases, perhaps goes on to show that there was some sort of mechanism that was put forth for at least the security agencies to find out what really was going on board that flight.
All right, Poonam, thank you so much for all those updates. Let me take this across back to my guest, who continues to be with us on the broadcast. Group Captain MJ Augustine Vinod is with us. Captain Vinod, I'll ask you the same question. What really happens in this case? What is the protocol? If there is a distress signal which is sent out to the ATC and there is a suggestion that's been made by the ATC, still the pilot here in question denied that request of landing in Jaipur, decides to actually take that entire route which was planned for the aircraft, goes through the Indian airspace, then goes ahead and continues till Myanmar. How is that allowed?
Not allowed. I mean, long story short, let me give you straight up front, not allowed.